Libra, welcome to your bonus in-depth reading. That is a 3-month overview, January, February, March. I hope you're well. I hope you're fabulous. We're going to start by going over the board I'm using for you and all 12 signs. That way we're all on the same page. We'll open your reading by taking a look at you for the month of January 1, the Magician, right? Moving into February 2, the High Priestess. And then, of course, March 3, the Empress. One of your power cards. Bottom row. The energies I like to take a look at for the 3-month overview, such as the Sun. Are we happy? And do we know it? Are we living it? Are we loving it? Or perhaps our idea of the Sun is changing. Very common, which is why I look at it. And the Tower. Anything unexpected we should know about over the next several months. Like always, take it resonates, leave it does not. But do keep in mind this is largely future-oriented. So back here in December, do you have an idea of what to expect over the next several months? Yeah, of course you do. But we're also here to see the stuff we don't know about, not just the confirmation pieces. Ideally, it's a little bit of both. And then also just to point out, because this does confuse people, what I see as the subject or the focus of January may not necessarily be the point of February, March, so on and so forth. Sometimes these advanced readings are linear, right? And they tell one story. Cool, that's fine. But it often jumps around, all right? So just FYI, I will do my best to clarify the heck out of this and make it make sense for you. All right, show me Libra. In January, show me Libra. Show me Libra. In January. Okay. You, Justice. Page of Swords. 6 of Wands. Okay. The High Priestess, Knight of Swords, the Hanged Man. Okay. Okay. You open up the year with, look, I'm doing something. It's a little different. However, you honestly feel that what you're doing here is a little different in January is good. You expect to see good results. The High Priestess, Knight of Swords, the Hanged Man is kind of like in January, just let this cook. We're going to let this cook. You have a feeling. Don't push it. Don't push it. Something's happening. You're open to the experience. You're opening to learning. Okay, so here, Justice, you're like, I figured something out. And you're excited. Page of Swords, 6 of Wands. You're looking at a situation differently. You did something here that says, this is correct for me. I feel pretty good about it. Now let's let it cook. I don't want to push results. The High Priestess, Knight of Swords, the Hanged Man. You're listening to yourself intuitively. Like, I'm ready, I'm poised to take action, but first I need more feedback that I'm on the right trail. So you've made some changes here in January, that you're monitoring the situation, where you've made a change, you've infused different thoughts, actions, or behaviors in a particular direction, and now you're patiently awaiting results. You feel good about it, though. 6 of Wands, you feel good about it. But you're like, let's let this cook. We need to let this cook for a little bit. Yeah, it's bubbling up. The High Priestess, Knight of Swords. You're like, and if I get more positive results in this new direction, I'll take further action. It's like, I will. The Hanged Man. So there's a pause over the actual action. So here we have amplification from the Page of Swords to the Knight of Swords. It's like, if this goes down well, okay, if I pull this off, that's good feedback. And I will continue to proceed in further actions and or communications. So I don't quite know what it is you did here at the start of the year, but you do. This is something I think that you're showing me like a rollout plan for the start of the new year. And you got a good feeling about it. You're anxious to do more, but first you want to learn more. I'm curious to see what it is. Of course, I'm going to push back on that or push further into it. I want to see what it is that you did. It's like, this feels just about right for me. You infused, like I said, new directives, and that can include your communications, okay, and your behaviors. A little bit of this, let's see where it takes me. You rolled out a plan here in January, and it's not a lot. It was just enough to get you going. And now your intuition's like, okay, you got it going. You got the ball rolling. Let's see where it takes us. Hold off any action until you see more. Okay. Okay. Like I said, I'll delve further into that later. I'm curious to see. That tells me then that you had a plan back here in December. It wasn't a huge plan, but it was enough to get things going, you know. The idea here is, Libra, let's try to be flexible with this. Yeah. Yeah, you started rolling out a new plan for the new year. But it's not a lot. You remind yourself constantly to remain open to feedback, be flexible, listen to yourself. Don't act impulsively. Start this, see how it goes. Learn from the feedback. The good news about that is that you'll be able to modify as you go. Show me Libra, please, in February. Ace of Cups. Ace of Wands. The Chariot. Something moves forward swiftly, FYI. It is very much in the direction of love. It's either being prompted by you or it's coming towards you. Let us continue, but just that's a heads up. Okay. Five of Pentacles, Death, and the King of Cups. Okay. We have let go of old constructs. You're ready. You're saying you're ready. Your heart's in the right. So regardless if this is coming from you or it's coming towards you, you're in the position of readiness. That's all I see, is that you're lined up to this new opportunity in love. Any old structures that are broken in nature, that represent abandonment. I hate using the word failures, but as people often say, a failure, a marked failure in your life as you might perceive it. I'm not saying it has to be, but something that broke, discontinued, represents abandonment, poor structures, death, that's done. Okay, you've cleared that out of your life, you've cleared those out of your energy, and the King of Cups prevails once more. So regardless, whether you're prompting love or you're on the receiving end of it, you're showing me, by all rights, you're lined up to be a willing participant if you choose. I don't think you know about this, do you? Well, why would you? Now, don't get me wrong. You might have been feeling a fullness of your heart now in December, but not actually acting on it. Had the opportunity to, perhaps until February. I gotta tell you, that cup looks hot off the press, honey. Hot off the press, that one is. All right, let's keep going. We're gonna push on that too. See? Okay. Yeah, you're already giving me a lot of material to work with. This is good. I like it. I like it. All right. So, me Libra in March. Okay. Frustration, maybe for some of you. Nine of Wands. Doesn't have to be. Show me Libra, please. In March. Okay. Four of Wands, Judgment, King of Wands. Huh. Ten of Wands, the Tower, the Magician. Oh, it's not hard at all. Oh, that's nice. That tells me, though, from your perspective, you expected this to be very difficult, but it's not shaping up that way at all. Why is that making me chuckle? I mean, it's such an interesting position there for the Tower. Oh, Four of Wands. Here we have Four of Wands, Judgment, and the King of Wands. Yeah, this is shaping up rather nicely. Okay, so here I do have a linear construct. January, how it might be related to this, don't quite know yet. But yeah, this one's absolutely linear. Yeah, this is shaping up quite nicely. In fact, the more it does, the warmer you feel. Your confidence is going up by March. It's like, this feels good. This feels really good. It feels promising. It has purpose. And for all intents and purposes, it looks like it's stabilizing. At the Four of Wands, once more, relationship as defined by two people, Judgment, King of Wands. You're in the process of defining it more heavily in March. Okay? And I like how you look in it. It makes you feel alive, radiant, you're glowing. You're warm. You're very warm. There's pride in here. There's a beautiful sense of pride and accomplishment. It's healthy. It's healthy pride. I like that. And Ten of Wands, the Tower. You had this energy there, some at March. So I thought this would be hard. The Magician, you're like, no, you're on the other side of that tower. It's like, no, I'm manifesting more of this. This feels great. So you're really glowing by March. But there's this idea, I got to push on that too. How can I not, darling? How can I not? Simply, I got to know more. It's like there's this sense here that this was going to be hard or an uphill battle or it was going to be so damn difficult. 10 of Wands in the Tower. It's like, no, that was a false construct that many of you had in your spirit. For one reason or another, it was there. This is kind of a clue with the Five of Pentacles and Death. The willingness to let go of, be changed by, transform over. Five of Pentacles. It's quite hard already for people to let that kind of shit go. Never mind be transformed by it and say, this is what I learned from those things, which makes me more ready to be a participant in love, not less. Okay? So you're showing me real transformation, i.e. growth over stuff that didn't work out. Okay? So you were lined up, like I said, for a rebirth. It's just your rebirth here was emotionality right here. Okay? But yeah, you still get to choose if you want to participate. It's just up until this point in February, perhaps the opportunity had not presented itself, but it does. Once more, either coming from you or towards you. But the thing is once you get going, you get going. You look great. You really do. There's a gentle warmth of pride that washes over you. I'm not quite sure how to explain it. It looks masculine, but it feels good, strong, confident. But there's this idea, I thought this would be a huge pain, impossible, imposition. No, it was the Tower. That was the Tower talking. Something that built up in your mind as its impossible task. It's like, no such walls exist. No. We're lining up to the right time and at the right place. And the Magician, you want more. That's wonderful. Well, what a reading. Lovely. We're not even halfway through. So we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of it, I promise you. All right. Show me the Sun, please, yeah. Thank you. You had an idea that a new opportunity would make you happy. Yeah. What shape would it take, though? Did you know? Okay. The Sun. Let's see that Sun, please. Let's see that Sun, please, for Libra. Let's do one more. FYI, Cinnamon's home today, so you might be hearing her run in and out. Forgot to say that. There's so much to address in the opening. I'm going to forget something. And then also for where I'm at in my neighborhood, it is pickup day, so if you hear background noise, there you go. All right, the Sun. Page of Swords, little guy right there. Okay, 7 of Swords, doubts. 9 of Wands. Yeah. You figured something out and it's so small. It's hard to kind of capture your thoughts. You had a change of thinking in your Sun about what would make you happy, and you tried to talk yourself out of it 1,000 times. I'm getting little winks. Okay, Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles. Goodness me. It's the Sun. I believe it's related to your opening in January, where you're like, you started putting something in motion in January, and it just, all you said is that this feels right to me. Okay? And it wasn't a lot, but it gave you a starting point. Let's just remain open. Let's remain flexible. Let's not try to contain this to a box, okay? Nail it down. No. Let's be flexible with this one. And I even told you that's an ideal position, especially if you're making tweaks or changes in your communication or behaviors because you want different results. And you showed me something that kicks off for you in January. It's like, this feels just about right. It's not a lot, but it's going to get me going. And you weren't wrong. But prior to that, Oh man, unto your sun. Like now, when I'm looking at you now, in December, you did your absolute best to talk yourself out of it. You really did, though. There's that little guy, Page of Swords. And right here, I have to admit, he was in an ideal position to be open to new experience, look at something differently. That's really his primary job, poor little guy, Page of Swords. Often, gets interpreted in that position of observation or spying. But when used correctly, here in the pro form, all cards in tarot have pros and cons. He's probably more famous for his con than his pro, but you showed me him in his pro today. I'm willing to learn and look at this differently. Make changes. Think differently. Therefore, behave differently. And all you did is that you showed me you kicked off the new year with not too much expectation. You made a little tweak, one that felt right to you. Made you feel good. You're like, okay, from there, let's just be flexible. The High Priestess, Knight of Swords, the Hangman. It's like, just like I said, let it cook. And over here, though, it relates to your sun. You said, that's not happy. I don't want to do that. That's stupid. Page of Swords, Seven of Swords, Knight of Wands. And we're going to suppress that shit. That's what we're going to do. Doing that stuff will not make me happy. It will not make me happy. It will not make... And that's kind of what you've been telling yourself right about now. So yeah, you got some bonus tarot today. I'm tracking you back to December a little bit. It is what it is. It shows up in the cards. Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups, Queen of Pentacles. Oh. There it is. What you've been trying to suppress. It will make you happy. Just squash it. Squash that beef, Libra. Don't do it. Beef with yourself. Some love, some affection, some attention that felt right. Queen of Pentacles, that felt secure. That was coming from a space of worth in you. That's what you really want to experience. That would make you happy. A little bit of love, a little bit of affection. But again, predictable, Queen of Pentacles, comfortable. Someone that you can have that kind of exchange with and feel secure about. Again, from a place of self-worth. In other words, whoever it is you would have that exchange with, ideally, okay, can return it to you. It's coming from a secure, comfortable place. Someone you can talk to. Someone you can have those emotional experiences with. Someone who could see those qualities in you and make you feel comfortable, like I said. In other words, not really into randoms. Someone that you can have some basic chemistry with, but feel solid, like a solid character, right? Yeah. That's what you've been telling yourself would not make you happy. That would not make me happy. Don't do that. So, I'm still going to press on January. I want to know what it is you did specifically, where it's one of the few times I've ever seen the Page of Swords in a pro position. What did you see differently? What is it, therefore, you were willing to do differently, communicate differently, behave differently? And then you were like, okay, let's start there. See how it goes. I want to know. Because it made a world of difference. It is making a world of difference, I'm telling you. Sometimes. What did the Queen Elf, Galadriel, say in Lord of the Rings? Even the smallest of persons can make the biggest difference. Something like that. Excuse me if I'm misquoting. I don't have ye old Google in front of me. I read a lot, though. Lord of the Rings. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That little guy made a world of difference between you suppressing something that actually feels potentially really good to you and allowing it to happen. I don't know what that is yet, but I just want to let you know I like it. I'm proud of you. All right, a Tower. Anything unexpected that Libra should know about? Yes. Over the next several months. Strength. Three of Swords. Ace of Pentacles. You never thought you would... Okay, hold on. There it is. Ten of Wands for the Ten of Wands. The Tower for the Tower. I said, Christina, just hold on. It's going to show up. And we did. Ten of Wands, Three of Pentacles, the Hermit. Oh, gosh. The idea of pursuing a new opportunity seemed impossible to you. And for many of you, still does right now. We're overcoming that thinking as we speak. There it is, that Ten of Wands. The Tower, it's impossible, it's too hard. Goodness me, it's like we didn't have the strength for it, or we just assumed we didn't have the strength for it, and that's the Tower. And that would explain that residual buildup I'm seeing here for you, Ten of Wands. We thought this would be the impossible wall to address, or overcome, or overtake. That there would be too much blockage, too much hardship, too much of the impossible if we tried to aim towards new. The Hermit, Three of Pentacles, there's this idea of starting over or trying to realign this possibly to cooperation or friendship. Would have been the wrong method. Part of you seemed to understand that, okay, I don't disagree. But then it's like pursuing this as a brand new opportunity also seemed completely unrealistic, and come to find out that's not true. Okay. So from a wise place in you, the idea is like trying to make this work as a collaborative thing, a partnership thing, business otherwise, personal or otherwise, friendship, whatever. It's like, no, that's not going to work. Okay. Trying to approach something from that particular point of view, you dismissed that. And it was a good dismissal. Because it's based on experience. From experience, you know that often leads to hardship. But the strength to see something for yourself as a brand new opportunity and allow yourself to go for it, to believe in that, to really believe in that, it seemed like an overwhelming task. Like an overwhelming task. And this is something, it seems, I have to insist, you are working through now. Ace of Pentacles is in the starter position for the end of the year and into the beginning of the new. So in that, you're working on it right freaking now. And this is what's going to allow you to put your walls down, that suppression tactic, put it down, put it aside, and allow you to see something differently. I've got to see what that is. You're working on it right now. You're working through this freaking Tower energy right now. You said in a very wise way, this is what doesn't work. I know that. I'm not going to try to approach anything like that. Friendly, cooperative, this is a joint effort. No. No, we know this doesn't work. But allowing yourself to believe in the solidity of a brand new opportunity, to have the strength for it, you still find that a daunting proposition. We're still working through that. There's that behavior right there. The frustration, the disbelief, the fear of being hurt, rejected, not taken seriously. And yet, what you want in terms of happiness remains the same. That hasn't changed. That didn't change. Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups, Queen of Pentacles. Love and affection. Sweetly, simply. From a secure place. That didn't change. You're working on it right now. You're working through that tower of energies right now. So you can make more space for your son. Speaking of which, let's press on these points, yes? I want to see what that is. I've got to see how you manage to address this That little thing, that little adjustment. So you said, I know it doesn't work. Okay, fine. But finding the strength to go all in on an opportunity, you're like, I don't know about that. So what allowed you, what gave you that permission to try something differently, no matter how small? And then you said, I'll take it from there. I'm just going to let the energies cook. And see if we can generate different results. And I have to tell you, it's the smallest of things. And it made all the difference. Robert Frost, The Road Less Traveled By. It has made all the difference. Okay. Page of Pentacles, the Hermit. Yes. The Fool, you rely heavily on what you know. Good. Never dismiss your hermit knowledge. The Hermits. One of my favorite cards in tarot to indicate not just healing, but wisdom. I've learned from having walked the path. I'm not ignorant. I don't turn my back on the past and say it's done. No. This is someone who goes out of their way to learn from their past, but not get lost to it. You have looked back on your path many times. Some of you might have some very distinct Virgo in your chart. Very distinct. That allows you this superpower. You're quite good at it. You learn from your past. Well done. And you said distinctly, this doesn't work. Something here about friendly cooperation, adjacency, trying to build into something. It's like, I know for a fact that doesn't work. Okay. So based on experience, what would? You have that knowledge too. The Fool, Page of Pentacles, and there it is. I swear to goodness, I want to call it a micro tweak. What you would have typically done, you're not doing. The Hermit, Page of Pentacles, the Fool, the willingness to be open in a very small way. There it is again. A change. When you drop it, when you put it out there, you're saying, this feels right. Me, justice. Six of Wands and Triumph. I feel good about this. I feel good. I feel good. I remained open to the experience. You did. You invested, but it wasn't a huge investment. It's like you took the Ace of Pentacles and you broke it down. This is what I can do. This is manageable. So I'm not in the position to go all in yet. I don't have the energy for that. I don't have the mind for that. But I also know what doesn't work. Okay, fair. There's a freshness of your energy here based on the Hermit. I will try. And it is positive and it's light. And it didn't take a lot. And above all, you felt good about it. And it's allowing you to move towards your sun. I think you're trying to show me a minimal of expectations or minimal hope around it. But nonetheless, it is allowing you to open up to your sun. Okay, there's that 3C. That's just the fear in you. I understand. That's normal. Knight of Swords. See, we're afraid. We're very afraid. Okay. We're afraid. We're afraid. There's that 3 of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, 3 of Swords. We're afraid of old results or old reactions. Patternized communication or actions of the past that you're familiar with that you know doesn't work. So you decided to change the tune. We're afraid. The potential response of the other side, will they cooperate and will it be in the ways I don't want? The Hanged Man. Queen of Swords, 3 of Cups. Because there's what you do want. There's the old fears. I don't want a responsive friendship. I don't want to try to contain it to that. I don't want that to be the language, and I don't want that to be the basis of connectivity. You made that very clear. What if whatever's on the receiving side of that gives me a friendly response? It's going to break my heart. I don't know. And we cannot guarantee the other side. Three of Pentacles usually indicates the cooperation of someone else. You know that. So whatever it is that you put out there in January, it's very positive, it's light, it's simple, and it's based on wisdom. Okay? The idea is to better access your sun. I see it. And this is why you're showing me. Let's hang back and let it cook. Because your mind is focused on proper connectivity. Three of Cups is not the same as the Three of Pentacles. You don't want the Three of Pentacles. You've done that. If you have any Sagittarius in your chart, perhaps check out their in-depth. That was pretty much the focus of the whole darn thing. Okay? You don't want a Three of Pentacles? Then don't participate in one. And I know you're afraid of the return. Oh, it's friendly and it's going to hurt. I know you don't want that. That's why you're showing me. Let it cook. Because you're focused on a Three of Cups. How long? Not very long, I don't think. It's enough that you made changes and you approach this very differently. You have a different focus, a different want, desire, and goal. Okay. Keeping in mind what would make you happy is some love and affection that you can personally feel secure about. But we don't want friendly results, do we? No. All right, let's push on February, and then boom. Ace of Cups, Eight of Wands, the Chariot. My. Things have picked up pretty well, actually. Look at that. A lot of water here, particularly Cancer and Scorpio. Doesn't have to be, but it's there. Just pointing it out. You might have this very strong placements in your chart. Could be connecting to. Okay. So who deepens the language then? Because clearly, you are connecting to a receptive energy. Okay, so who deepens the language? I see where we start something out that's manageable, not too many expectations. We changed up our thinking, communications, actions. I see what you're afraid of and trying to avoid. I see what you're holding out for in terms of your focus. Good. Steady. So who deepens the language then? Because somebody deepens the freaking language. So January, keeping it open, keeping it flexible, not expecting too much. Keeping your focus at the forefront. It's kind of like, let me put it this way, if you get a kind of friendly response, you'll back off. You don't want that. Good. You know what your focus is. Connecting more from here. Einstein. But I tell you what, the language becomes a lot more obvious by February. It could even be that the indication to move this forward in a more personal way. Obviously, when I start seeing height of energies like this around February, most people tend to jump towards the idea of Valentine's Day. Okay. Of course, that's not celebrated everywhere, but you understand what I mean. It might be that somebody makes their thoughts very clear around that time. The direction, the focus of them. My point is, looking at you here, like I said, you're lined up in that position of being a participant. Okay? King of Pentacles. Four of Cups, unhappy. The Hierophant. unhappy. Seven of Wands, Seven of Cups. Part of the communication I'm seeing here, it's a bit tricky. I really want to focus. The Chariot, Eight of Wands, and the Ace of Cups. I really, really do. But I did say the communication deepens. And it does. But the topic is diverse. So, as the emotional imprint becomes stronger, and we're speaking more clearly from the heart about feelings and Chariot direction, okay, someone else has something to say. Well, it's either you or them. King of Pentacles, Four of Cups, the Hierophant. Someone here has been expressly unhappy in a commitment. Familiar, yes. Rooted, yes. Invested in. Seven of Wands, Seven of Cups, Eight of Cups, and they're making it clear the emotions have been cut off. Barred, discontinued, walked from. Someone's commitment is no longer accessible to them, or they no longer feel part of it, or that they want to. And it's been walked from. Emotionally disconnected from, no longer participates in. That seems to be part of the February message or communication. Once more, as the love language deepens, okay, and someone shows express and moving it forward, someone else has a job to do to explain where they're coming from and what they've been experiencing. Okay? We don't want to experience that anymore. There's this idea here. In Death, the Five of Pentacles once more, abandoned constructs. We acknowledge them. We don't fight them. They're part of the history. It hasn't just ended. We've transformed from them. So it seems like that's part of the language once more. Someone is giving a little bit of a backstory. It's either you or them. Somebody's the prompter. The other person is the receptor. This is somebody's story I'm seeing in February. I did say quite pointedly that you are lining up. So this is either your story to share, or it's being returned to you, or in some way you both share perhaps both of these aspects and you're bouncing them off of each other. Okay. The dialogue is here. It's from the heart. And it helps moves things forward. That's my list for those who are not familiar with it. Yes, it helps moves things forward. This is an open and direct language. And indeed it does. It seems to instill emotional trust more on both sides. A rather large empathetic response. And someone's heart feels a lot more free to give and be present. Okay. But I strongly suspect you're both having that reaction. This is a very delicate, trusting line of communication between these two people. Okay. And this is what kind of seals the deal, I believe, for you two to move forward. This conversation needed to happen. It has a lot of layers. Okay, it runs deep. But it's what allows you to a vehicle to move forward. Okay, so it's kind of like, I think you're both trying to understand each other's side, to understand that there's a point in moving forward. Wow. Wow. Oh, I hear one of them. Says like I said, it's pickup day, so you're about to hear some heavy diesel engines. Sorry, guys. I do these readings when I can do them. Real life must will out. Yes? Four of Wands, Judgment, the King of Wands. Like I said, there's this spreading warmth, confidence too, rising. It's completely different from where you started off, where it's like, I feel reasonably good about opening up this way. I know what I don't want. I know what doesn't work. I'm going to try this now. Let's see. And I can see why. There's something about this barrier, from your point of view, as it relates to your tower. Again, something here you're working on December and you're not done yet. What you begin here, I believe, in December with your tower, you start dismantling what looks like this impossible objective. The point of it becomes clear to you by March. And yeah, towers, like I said, aren't always instantaneous. We work through these things. Where I see you started here, you understand absolutely what the point is by March. This was a lot easier. I want to say easier. I don't want you to take for granted everything that you've been through, okay? No, there was a lot of work that was put into this. And focus and time and energy and attention, meaning, context, intent. So no, but it's like by March, it's like I can't believe how easy this was. So it seemed like the impossible task, but no, it wasn't easy. It's just the results of it are such. It's like I thought this would be really hard, but it's exciting, isn't it, that you two reach that juncture? It's like, this is my intent. This is what I'm trying to do, and this is where I'm coming from, and you need to know that. I've overcome endings. You've overcome endings. Somebody has, or you both have. Like I said, you can maybe both relate. You might both have Libra in your chart, and that might explain that back and forth. But while we are talking about difficult subjects, it creates that emotional security, or the emotional investment. It moves it forward, not backwards. So, if that was the hard part, that ain't bad. No, I think the hard part was back here in January. Acting on these changes, and kind of taking a laid-back approach, being flexible, listening to ourselves, not trying to make any assumptions or plans. That was really important for you here in January. Try not to make any plans around this. Try not to make any plans. But by all means, get it started, but don't have any definitive ideas about where it's going. If they respond as friendly, okay, fine. It's going to hurt, but fine. Okay. But you kept your focus in mind with the Three of Cups. Very good. And yeah, like I said, and this is a choice, guys. If it comes back with a friendly sort of attitude, I'm seeing many of you, it's like, okay, well, that's how I'm going to treat it, but that's not how I'm going to move forward with it. Okay? I'll take my attentions off that. And for others of you, might choose to proceed in a friendly way, but I feel like for many of you, that's just not the objective. It's not the objective. It's not the objective. It's not the objective. Okay. You don't want it to be the objective, so I don't see you settling for friendship, no. That would cause pain, and you damn well know it. You dang well know it. All right. Let's see, Libra, a little bit more there in March. Three of Wands, Two of Pentacles, a little bit back and forth, the Moon, something's coming, okay. The anticipation's building, back and forth, Two of Pentacles, the Moon. It's kind of exciting because we don't know everything is in place yet. We know that. You're even looking out there on the horizon saying, I don't absolutely know where this is going, but at the Moon. It's like I want to discover it, though. I don't want to rush it. I don't want to push it. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. You're showing me a willingness to accept unknown. You are clearly moving in a different direction. Things look different. They feel different. There's a part of you that's happy about this, and there's a sign you too. It's like this might take some time to fully unroll and see it for what it is. You're like, that's okay. It's interesting. You're showing me that you struggle sometimes with absolutes. Typically, you know what you're doing in any given situation, and you're saying this one allows you, or, well, challenges you in some respects, that not everything is straightforward. Okay, that's fair. That's interesting, though, because, you're Libra. You being a cardinal sign. Well, You do like to take initiative when something's clear to you. You tend to move on it. That's true. That's fair. So I can see where you might tend towards decided factors. And that means it can take you a minute to weigh up them scales, right? But there's something about this one that challenges you a little bit. It requires you to be a little more open-ended, a little more flexible. But nevertheless, you are showing me results. So that's fair with the moon, and I would struggle with that as well if I were you. I wouldn't blame you for that. 3 of Wands and 2 of Pentacles. The moon, I don't quite know where this is going. But I need to relax on that subject. You're saying, for now, I want to trust the process. I feel good about it. Once more, King of Wands, Judgment, 4 of Wands. This feels like a relationship. And I'm taking strength in that. Not too long ago, we were thinking this was going to be a lot harder than it was. Turns out that's not true. Okay. There's some flexibility here. That's a bit of a challenge for you in March, but you're saying I'm determined to meet it where it is. Okay? And be open and flexible to this experience. It could be that you have a lot going on by March, too. Don't, lest we forget, the 3D has a way of getting really real for people. So it could be that there's a lot going on for you in March, where overall you're showing me a kind of rosy sort of glow around this connection. Okay? And how much progress you've made, and it feels good and natural and much easier than you thought. And it could be that there's another part of your life that's equally challenging. And everything needs space. Everything needs space to unfold. And what direction it might take. There's that as well. Okay. 7 of Swords. Oh, good. 7 of Swords. 6 of Swords. 9 of Pentacles. Yeah, that's much better. But you're showing me a lot of confidence. There's doubts here that you can literally leave behind. Yeah, it seems like they have been addressed. With the 9 of Pentacles here, I see someone chooses to be near you, stand next to you. We want more of this, the Magician. The doubts dissipate more and more every day by March. The fears and the insecurities. I see someone, like I said, stands up their own free will. You two are trying to figure it out, and you feel good. It could be that physical distance might be coming into play here, particularly around March. Who knows? Could be that there's a lot of travel involved. But there's the anticipation of, oh my gosh, this is going somewhere and it feels good. It's just not really clear to me. But I'm trying to give to this. So yeah, there might be some physical distance issues. Sure. Like I said, there could be a lot going on in March. But the point is that you're not showing me any insecurity around this particular figure. That's good. That's good. You even said so yourself. This is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. But I cannot begin to undersell you on this idea that this line of communication in February, and it's a lot more than just a communication, honey, is so critical to you both. It kind of gives you both greater access to emotional security, emotional investment, the movement and flow of this thing, the intent behind it, what you intend to experience, and in some way you receive knowledge of the other side, what they want to experience, and that confidence, that warmth by March. But going back to it, any insecurities around that figure, we can leave those behind. Okay? We can leave them behind. Okay, where are we? Oh. Okay. I don't know what you do in January. It's so small. But it was really smart. It was just right. What you wanted was so simple. And gosh, I'm looking at your sun and the way I pushed on February, that makes sense. Some of you are coming from, I know it sounds so harsh, but I need to use the language that's available to me so you best understand the situation. Some of you are coming from loveless and or affectionless commitments. Therefore, you would very much desire, have hope for the simplest of things. right? What we lack is often what we desire. So some of you might have very strong founded commitments where there was a lot of roots and someone was very unhappy for a long time. And that's discussed pointedly in February. And you showed me, I just want to feel secure about some simple love and affection and have it maybe return to me. I can see that you have earthian tendencies, don't you? It's all right. You do like to have definitions, absolutes. I know. There's something about the situation that is unique. It's different. And it requires a kind of upfront water bill, if you will. Like a prorate. Does that make sense? It has a prorate there of an upfront water bill. It requires emotional investment in order to kind of sink this thing further into a particular direction. And it's like once you understand that, it flows in that direction. The words come out. And what we're trying to achieve becomes much more apparent. That would also explain why you said, look, I don't want to do the friendly thing or cooperate thing. I don't want to do that. It needs to be real affection. It's got to be real affection. Because if I go out of my way to create a friendship here, I'm just going to get friendly results. I've had enough of that. You're right. Don't try to recreate what you left behind. You'll get the same results. It will feel comfortable because it's known, but you will get the same comfortable, not so comfortable results. Unhappiness. Okay. I think we've mapped this pretty damn well. Yes. In-depth tarot. This is what it looks like. If I was working with you one-to-one with the client, this is what it looks like. There's the main points and the finer points, the nuances and the layers and all that. So yeah, I like that. Just a touch of something right there in genius. I almost want to call it creative genius, but it's so small, it's so low-key. It's just right. Gathering around, the power of community, 26. Like I said, some of you are very earthbound. I can see that. You showed me that in King, Queen of Pentacles in Of Your Own Right twice. I very much believe I'm looking at someone who's used to having things defined, squared away. Everything has its place. Every place has its thing, right? Predictable, invested in the 3D. You probably have a huge community. So it's not just your family and friends or your personal career and finances. It's all those things plus. I have no doubt gathering where you plant yourself, others probably prosper. Okay? You probably have inner circles that have circles that have circles. And outwards like ripples in the water. Okay. The power of community. You're saying, despite all that, I felt like I was lacking for years. Or felt like I was alone for years. You don't need another friend. You don't need another network person, another connection person. You need an emotional person, a love. Netcaster, preparations come to fruition. I know. And your net's not weird. It's not scary. No. I like your net. I do. So Netcaster 42, it's done so beautifully, artfully. Like I said, it's borderline creative genius because it's so small, so unassuming. But it made you feel correct, balanced, positive. You gave yourself some, this is what I can work with, this is what I cannot work with. And then after that, you were hands off. And it's like, let's just see what we generate here. We're going to go with the flow. We're going to listen to ourselves. I'm not going to push. I'm not going to try to define. And you didn't. It didn't. And then it leads you into February so beautifully. So I don't know who's got the nerve to have that big conversation, but I'm glad it goes there because it's what you needed to get on the same page with this person. It's like I'm done with old constructs. They changed me. I'm transformed. I am changed. I'm a liberated Libra. I'm something. I'm lining up to this. This is where I'm coming from. I don't want to go back there. This is what I'm trying to achieve in love. And you have that dialogue that I was telling with Sag is so important. You've got to put it out there. Don't sit with the doubts. Don't allow them to twist you up like that. Don't sit with the doubts and don't just assume you two are on the same page or have the same goals. Put it out there. This was me. And now this is me. Can you meet me here? Because this is what I'm trying to do. Love. Okay. And I respect that so much. 42. 26. Watchers, the transpersonal. I was told to look down. You are watched by your ancestors. The transpersonal. Okay. Number 60. Okay. Pivot. Yeah. It shifted. We did a 180, which is good. You don't want to hear my thoughts on the 360, honey. You did a 180. You did a pivot. A situation did a pivot. Our stance did a pivot. Something you said, I'll never do, I'll never go there. You're allowing yourself to go there, and that's how you know change is really happening, when we stop with that fucking language with the Tower and the Seven of Swords and the suppression, the doubts and the insecurity. I'll never do this, I'll never do this, I'll never do this. And that language we really think as humans will keep us safe, but it also obviously tends to keep us trapped. I will never do this. I will never allow this. We do the opposite of it. Oh, okay. Well, now I'm making inroads where I hadn't before. Yeah, it's because we stopped trapping ourselves with this very limited thinking, determined outcomes. It has to look like this. It can't look like that. We got to stop that. It doesn't work for you, and that's something you're working through right now. And that's really going to hit home for you in March with that Tower. It is tricky, I have to admit. Tricky propositional energy right here. There's something about you can't build into this as quickly as you like. It might be that you have a lot of things to juggle. It might be literal separation there for a minute with the physical energies, excuse me. But you're saying the moon, not all is yet known, and that's fair. That's fair. But one thing you can put to rest. Those fears and anxieties, you can leave those behind. Okay? At least when it comes to that person, they seem to be there. Soar. Patience. You've given yourself a lot of patience. Time to soar. Patience also in the interpretation of temperance. Not waiting. No. Okay, not waiting. Waiting has no skill. Patience is a skill. Giving yourself a sense of patience, love, and a dedication to understand these things, and a determination to soar. Okay? Will you go on then? Within the next few weeks. Okay, so this opening here in January may not be like January 1. It might be December 26th or 27th or 20. Who knows? But it's flowing into each other quite nicely. That's all I care about, is that it lines up to what I'm seeing here. But yeah, there you go. And remain positive. I know, I say that for you all of January. Look at that positivity. It's very light, but I'm glad that you feel good about it. Okay? You're given enough to work with, that you continue to show the situation positive energy, and you know what markers to not look for. Friendship, that's going to hurt, right? You feel like that's going to break your heart, but you'll leave it alone if that's the case. Okay? You're holding out for proper connectivity. That's the focus. Don't negotiate that. All right. You didn't show me too much about them, other than the fact that perhaps you see them as an independent person, or that they might be water-oriented, or perhaps they just have those kind of big feelings kind of person. All right, P, J, Q, M. We have the Medallion of Aquarius here. Yeah, Aquarius season, for sure. So you want some very strong Aquarius in your chart. Could be connecting to the season, might be important to you. I have to insist, though, within the next few weeks, and by then we'll be in Capricorn season, which then flows into Aquarius season, which is around mid-January. But yeah, things for you might become a little bit more shaped up post-holidays, once we clear out of the holidays, okay? There might be more to work with. I have a feeling. The key. You have the key to any given situation, yes. I'm glad that you know that. Good. People who insist on seeing themselves as trapped or lacking of choice would never tell you that they have a key. They have a key. You have the most choice when you feel you have the least choice. It's the choice that matters the most. Okay? You have choice. You can unlock or lock up, any given situation. You just have to know you have the key for it. That means you have power. Understand that you have power, and that's when you make progress. But overall, I really enjoyed your reading today. Your sun, while you doubt your sun, your happiness, when I get past that, it is heartbreakingly simple. And I'm sorry, like I said, what we've been lacking is often what we tend to desire. So I can see that many of you are accustomed to long-term commitments that seem to lack emotional depth or hadn't for a long time. And that includes affection of the physical kind. You can't do that anymore. You don't want to do that anymore. And when you really speak up for yourself, that's when things really move forward. There's a tricky bit in March. I wish I understood it better. But it looks like time and circumstance are playing into your March energies in terms of time, energy, and effort distribution. It's a little tricky because you're trying to include them, but there's other things here that seem to preoccupy your attention. It's like, okay, the moon, not everything is yet known, right? But overall, don't allow that to discourage you. This does not look like an emotionally detached King of Pentacles. This is a very warm, deeply satisfied King of Wands. Like, okay, this is shaping up. And knowing that, it kind of allows you to push past the fear of the unknown. It's like, I'm hanging in there and I want to. And they're there too. No fears. All right, that's enough. Libra, honey. I like your opening in January. Well, I can't see the specifics of it. I like your change thinking behind it. It made all the difference. It really does. I hope this helped you. Put in the comments. Take care. Be well.